Ex-murder accused Henri van Breda's lawyer is recounting what happened the night his parents and brother were killed 2 years ago. Annie Larson joins us from outside court. Good morning to you, Annie. The first thing happening this morning, I see Henri van Breda being asked to plead.
That's right, Kathy. He's pleaded not guilty to all 5 charges against him, 3 of murder. That's for murdering his brother, his mother, his father, attempting to murder his sister Marley, who survived her injuries and now has retrograde amnesia, we're told, and then attempting to obstruct justice by misleading the police. What's very interesting, Kathy, is he did offer a plea explanation, which was read out by his lawyer shortly after he said, whispered, not guilty to all the charges that were put for him. And his version, in summary, is that of a masked, a balaclava-clad, axe-wielding intruder who came into the family home shortly after they'd watched Star Wars 2 and had a lovely dinner, a little bit of wine, a very happy family occasion. He says it was a close-knit family. He looked up while he was in the bathroom. He heard loud bangs, and then he saw the silhouette of this darkly clothed man wearing gloves and a balaclava, beating his brother with an axe. His brother Rudy on the bed making gurgling noises. He then froze. At some stage he began wrestling with this laughing axe murderer, who then produced a knife. The axe murderer then allegedly stuck the knife into his side, and Henri managed to pull it out of his side. He then saw his mother and sister being axed, receiving axe wounds to the head by this laughing man who didn't seem at all perturbed by the fact that he was trying to wrestle the objects away from him, the murder weapons away from him. He says he then fell down the stairs. He was severely injured. He passed out at the bottom of the stairs, and when he came to, it must have been light on his version. It must have been several hours later. And he tried to frantically find a number for the emergency services. He Googled the emergency services. He called his girlfriend but could not get through. At this stage, he says he was very nervous, and because he has a stutter, he was very concerned that emergency services would not be able to understand him. He also says he has a slight Australian accent, and therefore that was another reason for him to feel anxious. He eventually managed to get through to emergency services, and there was some confusion, and there was a signal issue. He ran outside, at which stage the police came. When the police came, he says he began to realize quite early on that he was being treated as a suspect, and at a much later stage, as his sister was taken away to hospital and his family members lay dead in their house on the very tight security estate, he said, one of the policemen said, "This is a..." Sorry. I mean, bull, it was said in court, this is a nonsense story, and we don't believe a word of what you are saying. My apologies there for repeating the court record, Kathy.
Look, Annie Larson, as you are speaking, I mean, it sounds like a version out of Star Wars movie itself. Has Van Breda included in that plea explanation just what happened with that emergency call? Of course, there are going to be lots of questions around what sounded like giggling as he asked the paramedics to attend to the scene.
Giggling, and I think shortly before that, and I'm sure that you will play that emergency recording, which we have received from one of my colleagues, Leanne Jansen, when she covered the bail application. He not only giggles, but he also admits that he decided to have a cigarette shortly before making the call to calm himself down. And I think that this will be interrogated in court, because if you've seen your mother and father and sister and brother lying gurgling on the floor with their injuries, one of them barely alive, it may be questioned as to why you'd light up a cigarette and decide to do that before coming to their help or trying to rescue them or give them some sort of first aid. So I should think that that is going to be interrogated under cross-examination if he decides to get onto the stand.
Thanks for that. We'll allow you to go back to that vulgar courtroom. Annie Larson is out in Cape Town for us, tracking the Henri van Breda murder case. Now we'll have more news.